art log number 12. All right. So, this year, what I plan to do is take my art to the next level. So, what I'm gonna be doing is, and just like that, I lost the motivation to do it. But, anyways, I'm gonna try to look more into learning a little bit more about anatomy. So I started this year off with a full body quote, full body sketch in a way, and I just wanted to see what I could do with it. And I tried to go for a little bit of color, as you can see in the background, but it just didn't work out for me. I just don't fully understand it yet, so I didn't really want to spend, you know, too much time on one thing. Like I was making myself cringe basically at this point, so I was just like, okay, like just fill everything in with white, maybe it'll look good that way, which I did, and I actually liked it. And what I did, instead of trying to color the things in, I put a hue on the sketch itself. So I have things that are kind of on the left side of every part of the body, hued with a little bit of dark red, and then I have the other side hued with a little bit of dark blue. So I did that, and I actually like how that came out. And then I threw white on top of it, and I was just like, all right, there's my sketch right there. And I went for some highlights with white, but I don't think that was white. I think it was like slightly yellow. Now that I look at that, that's kind of disturbing. But with the background, you can't really tell, so I mean, it's fine. So that's what I did with that. I had a lot of fun. And this was on the 7th, so I'll go ahead and go to January 11th. So with these characters, I tried to do, you know, different kinds of poses, and I didn't exactly get it right, but I did learn a little bit as far as how I want to take, you know, designing characters and stuff like that, or armor I should say, because characters are more based off of seeing like the face of people sometimes, I guess. And I'm not really into drawing faces or anything like that, so that's why I've always just drawn people with their identities kind of concealed, because I mean, I like it that way. Like Master Chief, Halo Reach, Halo ODST, or not Halo Reach so much, but like I just like the idea of having an armor and it just conceals the whole character as a whole, like Master Chief or something. So yeah, so that's basically always my theme. I mean, so I tried to, I didn't really think about like any specializations or anything. I just messed around with little armor types, and as you can notice, I actually challenged myself, I think subconsciously, not to have any spikes in it. Now these are not spikes though, these are like antennas, or like, yeah, antennas basically. So I had a lot of fun with these. Like I said, like some things are off completely, and I'm still trying to, you know, find ways to minimize that, I mean. So the next one I did was the 21st. So again, like I was going to go with color with this one, so I'll go ahead and show some of the very, yeah, and I did the same thing. I did the same thing that I did with the last one, but then I was like, man, I really want to try to push myself, so we're gonna go ahead and torture myself. So I tried different colors. I tried these, oh wait, those are probably, oh, I kept the white on there because I thought the white looked a little cool. I thought it added something extra, you know. It's like boom and then boom, boom and then boom, boom and then boom. So I mean, like, it added something. I don't know exactly what my plan was as far as the execution goes, but it did something. And then I tried to do darker darks, and obviously that started messing things up, so I basically lost the motivation with this one. So so this is kind of how it looked at first, which I don't really mind, but I don't really like how it came out, so I just kept it the other way. Now that I look back on it though, it's not that bad, right? It's okay, so January 26th. So same thing with this one. I tried to do a kind of different pose, and I tried to add color to it, but it didn't work. It didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. And now every time I apply color to things, I always think like, maybe I can have a breakthrough here, and it doesn't happen. But I slowly over time, like when I'm not using colors, like what I would recommend to you guys, if anyone's ever watching this video And this is coming from me, you know, pre-art school or pre-art classes, you know, not art class. I've taken like one art class, but it wasn't on anatomy or anything like that. It was drawing vases and fruits. That was it. But this is pre, you know, art school me giving advice to people that are in the similar position. If you're not spending time drawing something, spend time observing it. You know, spend time learning how things work. Like, for example, I bought a 200+ page book. And I don't want to sound like one of those guys like, I read books, like I'm smart, you know, like I don't read that shit every day, okay? Like I got the book for whenever I sketch, and I can look at it and take from that whenever I'm not sketching outside. So first I would say, and this is coming from, obviously, like I said earlier, an inexperienced perspective, but I kind of understand a little bit. If you're not spending time coloring, spend time observing how other people use color. So that's what I do. I try to look at different styles. I look at games like The Long Dark, games like Darkest Dungeon. I look at games like Overwatch and Fortnite and, you know, stuff like that. And then I also look at artworks of those things, not Fortnite specifically. I don't like specifically go looking for Fortnite art or anything, but I do, you know, I do observe how other artists utilize color in their drawings, how vibrant they make them, how do they make them vibrant. I tune into streams on Twitch. I watch people on YouTube. If you're not spending time coloring yourself, watch people color. And I think that's definitely been helping me a little bit compared to, you know, Artlog 8, where I had, you know, these really flat looking colors. I didn't really understand space, and even in 9, hell, even today, dude, I still don't understand how to color. And I'm just trying not to curse, because I don't want to be like in a professional situation later on and someone looks back on my video and Tyrell said fuck. Like, who knows what the world will be like 2 years from now, okay? Like, I don't want to, and I just said it. Anyways, yeah, so I tried to do colors here, and it didn't really come out the way I wanted it to, but I did like what I had so far. It's not where I wanted it to be, but it's something. And that's a hell of a lot more than nothing. So yeah, and group 1 or group 2, so this is the pose that I had at first. So as you can see, like, there's kind of some big differences between these, and the reason why I have 3 groups, I think, is because I started messing around with these like effects around the armor, so that's why. But wait, did I just delete? Where'd it go? Where'd the 3rd group go? What the hell? Hold on. Oh, okay, cool. All right, yeah, so this is how the pose looked at first. I didn't really like it. I felt like it was just too stiff. Like, who stands like that? So I was just like, all right, let's just have him, like, let's use this little rock thing or whatever the hell that is, and just use it as something that he puts his leg on. And that was that. Now, I do notice this little spot right here that looks like his knee is like really long. I'm cringing now looking at it, but I mean, when I was done with this, I was done with it. I wanted to move on to something else, and that's exactly what I did. So that's my explanation. I'm sticking to it. Let me see if there's anything else that I have hidden here. Nope. Oh, wait, what was that? Alright, I don't know what this was, but it's something. Alright, so now to today's sketches that I just finished. And I'm well aware, like, I'm well aware of the fact that these are sketches. Like, these shouldn't take forever to do. But I just keep in mind, like, whenever I am sketching, I'm also watching a video, or I'm also talking to people at the same time. So, like, one sketch can literally, like, one of these sketches can take me probably an hour or two. And I don't know if that's a good rate or bad, honestly. But I just do know that I get, you know, distracted and everything. And I just finished all of these on the 15th. But with this one specifically, I tried to go with more variable, not variables, but like, I tried to take one armor set, right? And instead of trying to throw it into a perfect scene or anything, I decided to do some kind of like concept-y art type thing. So I took this base design. Let me grab my marker. Okay, So I took this base design, so we'll call this original. All right, and my handwriting I know is bad because it's not that bad on paper. I just don't know what's wrong with this pad. It's the pad, I swear. But yeah, so this is the original, and then I came over to this one. I made this one, and my main idea behind this one, I tried to put functionality into these, right? And it's so fun, man. Like so what I did, I thought like, okay, this could be like some robot-y, like bot, not robot-y bot, robot bulky, like steam, smoke screen, anti-radiation, like anti-heat, anti-thermal, like some crazy like bulky suit. So like I didn't really hit the nail on the bulky part, but for the most part, I think, you know, I got these little steam vents, which are shown by the smoke coming out in some spots, and that's what would be used to make some kind of like smoke screen. Like say like this character is under crazy fire, like even though he's tanky, you don't want to just be getting pelted with bullets, so boom, smoke screen. Say an enemy's on top of someone wearing this armor suit, they can emit steam, so like you can shoot steam everywhere, really hot steam. So I know someone out there just thought in the wrong way. It's not what you think. All right, so hot steam. And then like I thought like maybe with the visor, because I take a lot of pride in coming up with some explanation as to why I have a design a certain way. It's just fun as hell, and it's fun to, you know, look into. So I have these little things, right, and they're supposed to come apart, like really, like they can, like one part, the bottom half of the part of the mask will go downwards, the other part will go upwards into this like big little visor thing up here, and maybe this circle part is part of the top one, so that would probably go up too. And then like, you know, the person's face would be there, and they would probably have like a little cool mask on or something. Now what I wish I did, looking back at this, like maybe I could have put some like gas mask looking thing on the side, so like maybe some kind of like filter, but I didn't really know how to do that without the perspective looking all weird, so I just decided to keep it like that. Oh wait, shit. Okay, so that's what I did with that one. With this one, I was thinking a lot like precision based, just spikes everywhere, detachable spikes maybe. This is kind of like a stealthy thing, so we have like the antennas here that can pick up radio signals, maybe jam other radios or something like that. I don't really know how radios work, so like obviously through more research on radios, I can make something that resembles a radio jammer, right? So that's another thing. Always look into, like, if you want to find out how like to make a radio jammer, or like, what's a good example of this, right? Okay, so I'll just use this one as an example, right? Because I don't know what a radio jammer looks like, or what it, you know, what are the main parts that make it operate. I didn't know exactly what to put on here to signal that to the viewer, right? But that was my idea. You know, I know antennas are these long, you know, thin things that pick up radio signals somehow, so that's exactly what I just put on the top of his helmet. In fact, I put two, so that's how that's working. And the spikes are like, they detach, like say like you're sneaking or something, or like you get ambushed and like by a monster. Like this would be not so much anti-person, but anti-beast monster, whatever. These monsters jump on you, think porcupines, right? I didn't want to cover him with spikes, because then he just looks like some wannabe porcupine motherfucker. So I was just like, okay, we'll just put spikes on there. They detach when someone jumps on them, and maybe like they're made out of some biological based metal, like I don't know, like something that regens, you know. That's such a cool idea to play with. Like you can, when it comes to fantasy, like you can come up with so many different cool things. Like I know Kaisa from League of Legends gets a lot of controversy, but or got a lot of controversy from like being in the void and coming from the void in a bikini suit or something like that, that it perfectly exposes her boobs or whatever. It's like it's not exactly like, it's just the suit is an alien, and the alien probably is binded to her in some way that it it forms around her body to her will, right? So like you could take that with like could you imagine like a metal that like people discover some kind of metal in some fantasy world, and like you don't even have to smith it, you know, you bind it to a person and that metal will follow their will. Some crazy, now I'm not some kind of like crazy writer or anything, but who knows. So I was thinking like maybe these, and it's not really represented too well, but like maybe these spikes are like biologically made like with something that can regenerate. So every time something jumps on this guy and like grabs onto him and they're holding on the spikes, or they're impaled by the spikes, so they're kind of sticking onto him, he can detach the spikes at will and they will regenerate back eventually. So I thought that would be a really cool idea. Moving on to this one, I didn't really think about any functionality specifically, but I saw that okay, there's different sizes of spikes I can mess around with. There's little curves I can mess around with, you know, put some kind of horn on the helmet. So that's what I did. And alongside that, I changed the visor and put some scratches on the visor a little bit. So this could be like some kind of bruiser or something like that. Now I really like, looking back on it, I could have done so much like to change these more dramatically, because my favorite one that I dramatically changed would be these two. These are definitely my two favorite that I changed, and I could have done that with this one and the others, but I didn't. You know, I could have maybe put like, if this was a bruiser, like okay, you have a one big shoulder pad right here, right? So what screams bruisers in any game? Two big shoulder pads. So I could have put another big shoulder pad on this side, and then like it signals to the viewer like, hey, like this guy's bulky as shit, like he's probably a bruiser. So I wish I did that. And for sure, like as far as like radio jamming, I could have put like, you know, little antennas or something coming off of like the back of the armor or something like that. But obviously I wouldn't do it that way, but like I'd do it some way where like it signals like, okay, these are definitely for intel. And I don't know how I would do that in a sketch, but I'd find a way. With this, I basically did the same thing that I did with this one, and I was just like, okay, I can play around with spikes. So I made some like, holy crap, I just almost did that perfectly. I did the spikes just basically the same way that I did the other ones, and just, you know, played around with different shapes and different places, and gave him like a different, like a horn right here. I don't think I did that. Oh, I did do that one with that. So like I basically just tweaked that, gave him an LED right here, or a light, you know, and changed the shoulder pad. Same with this one. I basically gave him like some like shark teeth design on the armor, on the outside of the armor. That looks pretty cool to me. And then I gave some like, you know, shoulder pad back here, and, you know, redesigned the armor a little bit. Shoulder pads are probably my favorite thing to redesign. They're just, it's so like, the face and the shoulder pads honestly give the whole armor, like it can, that's probably the first thing that I ever look at when it comes to a character, other than the legs. But I don't know how to really draw legs that well, so I just don't even do it. And then I gave some like, you know, cool design on the arms a little bit. I think it looks weird still, but hey, we all start somewhere. And that was basically it. So since my last video, that's all I've really been doing. This is everything up to date over the past month. So I mean, yeah, 5 sketches or 5 files. It's kind of disappointing, but hey, you know, I can't really blame myself too much, because I am full-time in college now. So like, there's been so many times where I've prioritized, you know, doing these sketches over actually doing my homework. So yeah, so I hope you guys learned something new, and yeah, I'll see you guys. I just have to find the stop record button, because now the video's just getting really fucking awkward.